Ah, Star Citizen. Sometimes you really do surprise me. Or rather, Reddit. Reddit gave me a bit of a minor heart attack this morning. Now, this is fan produced. This is not from CIG, but when I saw this image, I just went and immediately opened up the RSI page on another tab and just went, really? Are they? Did they? Because, in my mind, I've always been kind of looking at that huge gap in the ship production pipeline and wondering what's in that gap. What are they hiding? We have some hints. We have some guesses. Certain people have put out certain things. But when I saw this, and this is produced by a Reddit user whose name is probably going to hear a clicking sound in the background right there. AGONAOC or Agonayak. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. There is 0% disrespect intended with that. But this popped up on Reddit when I saw this, and I, looked at the, the figurative gap in the ship production pipeline, and this image popped up. I just went, no, they didn't. Or rather, yes, they did, For a moment there, I just went, oh crap, it's about to pop off. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be fun. I can't wait, man. I cannot wait to get this thing in game. This is gonna be such a great ship. So fantastic. The work by the artist is, it's great. It's amazing. The only downside is the fact that it almost gave me a bit of a minor heart attack this morning when I saw it, and I just went, they built it. I can't wait. One of the funny things, is I actually do plan on in-game, not in the real world, obviously, given recent revelations. I do plan to purchase a Prowler in-game, and that's kind of why I've been holding back a certain amount of UEC that I've been earning to do that, just so I can strip the shields off of it and and put them on this ship when the ship arrives. It's, it is, there's a lot of ships that I own in Star Citizen that I'm a fan of for one reason or another, but when I really do kind of dial down into reality and what the day in and day out of flying in Star Citizen is going to be like. Sure, there are ships like the Reclaimer and there's ships like the Caterpillar, but more often than not, it's going to be this ship that is going to be kind of like my bread and butter. It's going to be my kind of everyday daily driver type routine. And I really can't wait, Yeah. This is probably going to be one of the best all-around ships in Star Citizen. I don't think I'm exaggerating. I think that this ship is going to turn a lot of other ships on their head, and CIG is going to have to, after they release this ship, they're just going to have to turn around and go like, oh man, we've got a lot of work to do, because all these other ships, these Connies and whatnot, all these other medium-sized ships, they're just dead weight compared to this. This really is going to be, one of those ships that really kind of defines the game. But enough of that. Enough fanboying out over the ship. Is it really going to be this kind of game-defining ship, or is it, just me exaggerating because it's the ship that I like because it looks cool or it has asymmetrical wings or something like that? Because we see enough bias like that in the community in regards to certain ships that do not deserve the praise that they get. Why is it so good? Well, for one thing, the firepower it's pretty hefty. When you think about 4 size 5s and 2 size 4s in terms of fixed guns, especially when you think about the recent things that I showed you with the Caterpillar going up against a Gladius, and that's nowhere near the firepower that this thing has, and this thing is going to have way more mobility and way more maneuverability. Extrapolate from there what you can do with a ship like this. Does this mean that this is a ship that's going to take on javelins and Bengals and Krakens and just, crush them all. No, of course not. This is definitely going to be a ship that it pays to stay in your lane, so to speak. But if you use it smartly, it's a ship that's built to, enhance your results, I would say. If you think about one of the other features of the ship, weapons set aside, is it's an exploration, air quotes, ship. So it's gonna have to have very good sensors to be an exploration ship. So it's probably going to be very good at finding its prey, about seeing what's ahead of it, what's going on, and knowing if and when it should engage, or if it should just say, that situation looks a little sketchy, maybe I'll go the other way. It also comes with a fairly hefty cargo hold, the equivalent of a freelancer. So it's not all that terrible for hauling away loot. Of course, the more valuable the loot, the better you're going to get out of that cargo hold. So results may vary, but it combines all these wonderful features. And plus, I think speed is kind of heavily implied by this ship. It's going to be a fairly speedy ship. And I mean, I've shown you some of the things that I can do with a Caterpillar, and a Caterpillar certainly isn't the fastest ship out there. So you can kind of figure what you can do with a ship like this if you have the sensors, and if you're using them, and if you've got people with you and you've got brains. You can really leverage all of these features to make a very devastating kind of first strike and escape weapon. Oftentimes with a lot of the heavier, more combat-oriented ships, they aren't really built with the idea of kind of like pounce and then bounce, right? Like get them and then get the hell out. Get them, get the loot, and get the hell out, rather. Whereas a ship like this very strongly implies it. And I feel that, it's just one of these ships that some people are looking at it and they're just not seeing it for what it is. They're saying, oh yeah, it looks crappy, or I don't like the way the wings are, blah, 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 blah. But I think that more and more it's going to be like the Cutlass. The Cutlass originally didn't have all that many fans in the Star Citizen community, but as word of mouth got around and more people started going like, oh no, this is actually like a really good ship, it became increasingly popular. And I think that you're going to find a lot of us kind of early adapters of the Corsair are going to be like, I told you so. And a few years from now, we're all going to be sitting there just kind of smugly stroking our chins and going like, I told you so. I told you that was going to be a top tier ship. You didn't believe me, but it was. It's just such a perfect blend. And I mean, it kind of blows my mind that it isn't in the game yet. Just because, it seems like all the stars are aligned for this ship to be here. One, CIG has all the assets already. Most of what they need to actually kind of fill this ship out, apart from the basic hull design and all that, it's already in game. All the Drake assets are already there. Two, everything that this ship does, from sensors to cargo hauling to combat, are already in game, good to go right now. This ship, you could more or less ship it, and everything except that kind of really deep down exploration stuff that they plan to do in the future. All of it, everything that you need to make this ship work in the PU is here already. It's all here and all good to go. It's perfectly built for the state that Star Citizen is in right now. When you think about all the pressure that CIG is under, with Squadron 42 clearly eating up a certain portion of this, ship production pipeline, a ship like this, with most of the assets already built, with its gameplay already in place, if you're looking to implement ships into the game and to keep that flow going, but you're still trying to, as much as possible, leverage the work that you've already done to accelerate that process, the Corsair becomes kind of a no-brainer for implementation. It's almost kind of weird or strange or bizarre that no one has kind of put this together and said, we could just do the Corsair. There's a huge fan base out there for it, and we could kind of get it done and get it out there in players' hands in probably less than a year. And, it wouldn't take as much work as building some of these other ships from scratch. I mean, it's just my 2 cents. I know that we're getting the Star Runner and the Hercules Starlifter, but why not this ship as well?
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.